talking about how our brains as humans are wired for 300,000 to 100,000 years ago, and understanding that our brains as men and women are designed and wired to function a certain way, it's very, very dangerous. And as I've realized through all this, because in the gaining of knowledge that I have fortunately faced, and the gaining of wisdom that unfortunately I've had to gain through loss, I have really understood that it is very vitally important that I as a woman understand that my brain is not wired, and this is taking into account, not taking into account my brain injury. My brain injury obviously is a significant contributing factor to my specific personal issues, and why I did succumb to survival of the fittest, and why I had things stolen from me, because these guys, they did not have the ailments that I had. They did not have the discrepancies within their brain that I had. They didn't have the person that they all serve knew this about me. Emotional inferiority, communicative inferiority. Her brain damage causes her to not be able to communicate the right way, and to not, from her brain tumor, from her 9 brain surgeries and everything, and the bacterial infections and hydrocephalus, and all of those contribute to why I was not able to communicate sufficiently. I wasn't able to I couldn't control my emotions. But specifically with women and the way that our brains work, our brains are not wired to function outside of the home. They really are not. It's not an anti-feminist idea. It's just that they're not. They're designed to, when our brains are only evolved to the point where we were only maybe leaving the camp temporarily to fish or to gather plants, but we were watching all of the children in the group, that whether they were ours or not, when we were migrating. We weren't out hunting and constructing complete plans and everything for hunting like the men were. So with that being said, I've noticed a lot that women's emotions are often by these sadistic men that have the resources to not go to work, and they don't have to do anything that they don't want to do just because of societal advantages that would not be there. And of course, they would not even be considered masculine individuals if we lived in a society that still valued masculinity and traditional evolutionarily given masculine traits. But they understand, I can manipulate a woman's emotions because of the way their brains work. I can get them to completely assimilate their emotions with their logic and get them to do what I want. I can get them to leave their job, or I can get them to do something that I want them to do. And women, the reason that women will often succumb to this, and I've seen it so many times, they'll get manipulated by somebody who declares dominance over them, a male figure who declares dominance over them. Of course, in today's day and age, and specifically in California, normally with monetary resources, but often it's very much so with that these men understand, I can manipulate her with her emotions. I can manipulate her friends. It's the same reason for why men get along a lot better than women do. They had to develop the skills of teamwork. That's why it's easy to get a woman isolated and by herself, because if other women that are around her or friends with her can easily be manipulated with their emotions. And I think a lot of times women don't understand this, and that's why they end up being victims of things that they can't get themselves out of, because sadistic minded men like this, or even other women, understands that they can properly, because these women don't understand that their brains aren't the same as men, that they can control them. And I am completely in support of women working outside of the home, But if they are going to venture outside of the home, they have to understand that you cannot mix your emotions with your logic. Because if you do, then you will succumb, and you will be a victim of, and you will be subjected to many things that your brain does not have the capacity to do. It's not even a anti-feminist perspective. If women don't understand that their brains are different than men and aren't designed to work outside the home, then they will never succeed outside the home.